Can a single pitch haunt a franchise forever? Or do we just lack the courage to excise the demon before it consumes the new season? Welcome back, everyone. Today, we aren't talking about batting averages or spring training invitees. We are talking about psychological warfare. And right now, the Toronto Blue Jays are losing the battle against their own memories. The air in Dunedin is supposed to smell like fresh-cut grass and optimism, but let's be real. There is a stench lingering over this camp. It's the stale, bitter scent of heartbreak from the 2025 World Series. And at the center of this emotional storm stands one man, Jeff Hoffman. The question nobody wants to ask, but everyone is thinking, is simple. How can this team possibly move forward with the man who served up the season-ending meatball to Miguel Rojas still wearing the closer's jersey? We need to talk about the elephant in the room. The Blue Jays are currently operating under the delusion that time heals all wounds. But in professional sports, time doesn't heal anything. Winning does. And you cannot win when your ninth-inning anchor is walking around with a target on his back and a scar on his psyche. The report surfacing this week suggests a radical, yet necessary move. The Blue Jays must trade Jeff Hoffman before opening day. This isn't about punishment, it's about survival. When Hoffman stood in that locker room last October, tears in his eyes, and told the press, "I cost everybody in here a World Series ring," he wasn't just being accountable. He was writing the first chapter of a tragedy that will play out every time he takes the mound at Rogers Center in 2026. Imagine the scene. It's mid-April. The Jays are up by 1 against the Yankees. The bullpen door opens, the lights flicker, and out comes Hoffman. Do you think the 40,000 fans in attendance are cheering? Or are they holding their breath, terrified of a repeat? That kind of nervous energy is contagious. It seeps into the infielders. It makes the catcher grip the mitt a little tighter. We are looking at a roster that is championship caliber. Dylan Cease, Kevin Gausman, Shane Bieber. This rotation is absolutely elite. But a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. And right now, that link is forged from trauma. Keeping Hoffman isn't loyalty, it's negligence. We are staring down the barrel of a season where every blown save won't just be a loss in the standings. It will be a national referendum on that one pitch to Miguel Rojas. The front office needs to wake up. This isn't a baseball decision anymore. It's an exorcism. To understand why this trade is mandatory, we have to look at the history of the GOAT in baseball. This sport is cruel. It remembers failures far more vividly than it celebrates successes. When we talk about Jeff Hoffman giving up that home run to Miguel Rojas, a guy with zero power, a utility infielder for crying out loud, we aren't just talking about a bad pitch. We are talking about a Bill Buckner moment. We are talking about Mitch Williams in 1993. When Joe Carter hit that home run to win the World Series for Toronto, Mitch Williams didn't just lose a game. His career in Philadelphia was effectively over the moment the ball cleared the fence. The fans never forgave him. The city never let him breathe. The Phillies had to move him because the toxicity was radioactive. Is Ross Atkins really arrogant enough to think he can rewrite the laws of baseball psychology? Let's dig into the mechanics of what happened. Hoffman had a career year in 2025 with 33 saves, sure, but look closer at the underlying metrics. His ERA was 4.37. His WHIP was nearly 1.20. These are not the numbers of a dominant, shut-down closer. These are the numbers of a high-wire act that finally snapped. He was walking a tightrope all season, and the fall was inevitable. The stuff plus his models might love his pitch shapes, grading 3 of his offerings as above average. But analytics cannot measure the weight of a shattered confidence. When Dennis Eckersley gave up that homer to Kirk Gibson in '88, Eckersley was a Hall of Famer with a track record of ironclad mental toughness. Hoffman is a journeyman who found lightning in a bottle for 6 months and then smashed the bottle on the floor. There is a distinct difference between a slump and a scar. A slump is technical. You fix your release point, you adjust your grip. A scar is mental. Every time Hoffman falls behind in the count 2-0 this season, his brain will flash back to Rojas. Every time a runner reaches second base, the ghost of the World Series will be standing there leading off. And the fans? Let's be honest about the Toronto market. It is passionate, but it is unforgiving. If Hoffman blows a save in the first week of the season, the boos will be deafening. It will break him. We saw it with Brad Lidge in Houston after the Pujols home run. It took Lidge leaving town and finding a new home in Philadelphia to resurrect his career. For Hoffman's own sake, and for the sanity of a fan base desperate for a title, he needs a fresh start where he isn't defined by the worst moment of his life. The Blue Jays are trying to run it back, but you can't sprint toward the future while you're shackled to the past. So what is the solution? The critics will say, you don't trade a 33-save closer just because of one bad game. That is a lazy argument. You trade him because the asset is distressed and the environment is toxic. We aren't asking for a blockbuster. We aren't expecting the Blue Jays to flip Hoffman for a young superstar like Kyle Tucker. That ship has sailed to the evil empire in Los Angeles. We are talking about a lateral move, a change of scenery trade. The league is full of veteran relievers with baggage. Find another team with a closer who has worn out his welcome, or a setup man looking for a promotion, and make the swap. It's about changing the energy in the bullpen. You need someone who can take the ball in the ninth inning without the entire stadium holding a collective panic attack. Let's analyze the impact on the locker room. Baseball players are creatures of habit and superstition. They say the right things to the media. We have Jeff's back. We win and lose as a team. But deep down, they know. When you have a rotation featuring Dylan Cease, Kevin Gausman, and Shane Bieber, you are built to win 1-0 or 2-1 games. Those pitchers bust their tails for 7 or 8 innings to hand a lead to the bullpen. If they look out to the mound and see a guy who is mentally fragile, it changes how they pitch. They start trying to do too much. They try to go the complete game because they don't trust the finish. That is how injuries happen. That is how rotations burn out. The chemistry of a championship team is delicate. You cannot have a cloud of doubt hanging over the most high-pressure role on the team. Furthermore, look at the depth the Blue Jays actually possess. This isn't a situation where Hoffman is the only option. They have Louis Varland. They have Tyler Rogers with that funky delivery that nightmares are made of. They have Yimi Garcia. The arm talent is there to absorb the loss of Hoffman. In fact, trading Hoffman might actually liberate the bullpen. It removes the hierarchy that feels unearned after the World Series collapse. It opens up a competition. It tells the rest of the squad that performance matters and that the front office is serious about turning the page. If the Jays keep Hoffman, they are essentially gambling the 2026 season on the hope that human nature doesn't exist. They are betting that a guy who admitted he cost everyone a ring can suddenly become the Iceman. That is a bad bet. The smart money is on a trade. Even if you get 80 cents on the dollar in return, the addition by subtraction is worth it. We are standing at a crossroads, folks. The Toronto Blue Jays have all the pieces of a juggernaut. The rotation is a three-headed monster that no team in the American League wants to face in a short series. The lineup, despite the missed opportunities in free agency, is still dangerous. But championships are lost in the margins. They are lost in the hesitation of a manager who is afraid to bring in his closer. They are lost in the groans of a crowd that expects the worst. Keeping Jeff Hoffman is an act of stubbornness, not strategy. It is an emotional anchor that will drag this ship down before it even leaves the harbor. The front office needs to be ruthless. They need to protect the player by sending him away, and protect the team by bringing in a clean slate. Think about the alternative. Picture it. September 2026. The Jays are fighting for the division title. Hoffman comes in. He gives up a leadoff walk. The cameras cut to the dugout, and everyone has that "here we go again" look on their faces. Do you want to live through that? Does he deserve to live through that? No. The merciful thing, the winning thing, is to say goodbye. We thank him for the 33 saves, we acknowledge the effort, but we recognize that the marriage is over. The divorce papers need to be signed before the first pitch of spring training. This is the only way to clear the air. This is the only way to truly move on from the heartbreak of 2025. Now, I want to hear from you. I know this is a polarizing topic. Half of you think I'm being too harsh on a guy who had one bad night. The other half of you probably wanted him gone the second that ball landed in the bleachers. So, tell me in the comments, is keeping Jeff Hoffman a fatal mistake for the Blue Jays? Or does he deserve a shot at redemption? Can a closer ever truly recover from losing the World Series? Drop your thoughts below. Let's get a real debate going. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, smash that like button and subscribe. We are going to be covering every pitch, every trade, and every controversy of this 2026 season. Don't miss out. I'll see you in the next video.